what a way to go out in junior hockey. I mean, he tackled everything. That was his final game. And now ultimately the question lays, is it going to be the Leafs next year, or is it going to be the Toronto Marlies for Easton Cowan?
Yeah, and we'll see what Tree Living has in store. Again, we talked about this last year quite a bit with Minton and Cowan, and what do you do? What's best for them, right? Obviously, you want those high-end players to have as much success as possible, and you put them on that big stage, especially Toronto. Like, it's different if you go to Anaheim and start playing. You can be under the radar. You can have a couple of weeks where you struggle, which players of that age are going to do in the NHL. It's a massive jump. Here, it would be front page news, and they'd have to answer all the questions, and then they realize that people are talking about me, and people are disappointed in me, and people are saying I told you so, and he's not ready, and he's not seasoned enough, and you got all that. And then that's what makes it that's what makes it difficult to come out of, and to turn a bad couple of weeks around. Where in Anaheim, it's like no one's even talking about it. The kid doesn't even get it in his mind. He's like, oh yeah, that has been a couple of weeks. And then all of a sudden you pull out of it, and you find something, and you get some confidence. You get a couple bounces. You make a nice couple of plays. You have a good game. You get promoted to a line, and you get to play with these couple of guys, and you get a sniff on the power play, and it just goes. Where with Cowan, it would be like, and we're going to see what's going on. There'll be a lot of buzz about him not being ready for this league. And, do they put him on waivers, and do they put him through, not waivers, but do you put him down to the Marlies, and is he ready? And then, okay, well, they're giving him a shot on the power play here. Let's see what he can do. Everyone's watching. This is his chance. And it's just a totally different beast in Toronto. I don't know if fans who follow this team, if they quite understand that, because if you only ever lived in Toronto or followed Toronto or been a fan of the Leafs, that's all you know. But it is drastically different in other markets, and it's a lot easier for a prospect, especially a high-end one, which Easton Cowan is, to find their footing as a professional. And that's my one thing that I know they've already addressed that they're going to be conscious of. You want to give the kid every opportunity to build confidence, to understand the pro game, to figure out his timing and his place, and how much he can succeed at that point in time. It's just a lot more difficult to do when you're under the microscope in Toronto.
I will say, as someone who went to school in London, I think that's the closest thing you'll have in junior hockey to like the Maple Leafs is the London Knights. They get 10,000 people at their home games. It's crazy. Like a Friday night, it used to be called the John Labatt Center. That place would be rocking, and they're all just loving their London Knights, and they're kings there. They're literally kings. They're gods. They're gods in London. Yes, but I think that'll help them adapt and evolve. And I think for the Maple Leafs perspective, I wouldn't mind the route that they use with Fraser Minton. Mind you, Minton started the year with injury, but give him every opportunity, Cowan, to make the team. If he shows and demonstrates that he is worthy of getting a roster spot at a training camp, put him on the roster. But I wouldn't have any expectations. I just want to continue to see his development. And I think they can use the American Hockey League as sort of a ground to get his footing in Toronto. I think it's great that the Marlies are just down the road too. So I don't put the expectation, at least from my perspective, that he makes the team. I just want them to handle him right.
Yeah, that's a huge word that's going to be huge, and that's expectations, right? You don't want to put expectations on him. You want him to be aware that, like, there are no expectations, Easton. There are no one expects you to make the team. No one expects you to be a difference maker. Give them the opportunity to do so, but that's such a huge jump from CHL junior hockey, which he dominated, to the NHL. It's a massive jump, and the in-between piece is the American Hockey League. It is high-end professional hockey with all kinds of guys who have played in the NHL, who will play in the NHL, and it's professionally run teams, and it's the same schedule as the NHL in a lot of ways, and that's good for your development. Like, you talk about having the confidence and being able to quote unquote dominate, and you want him to continue feeling that so he keeps his high pedigree in his mind mentally and with his confidence, and to give him the opportunity to make the team. Awesome. But like, let him feel like it doesn't matter if I don't. It's not, you're not disappointing anyone. You're not letting anyone down if you don't make that team, if you don't blast off and have all this flourishing success. It's fine. Yeah, you're going to get some time. You're going to get some chances. going down to the Marlies is completely normal and expected. He needs to feel that so that, give him the best possible position and foundation to have as much success early, but don't have the expectations on him, because that's where you start to, in that market, in that league, you can start to second guess yourself, grip your stick a little bit, try to do things that you're not normally used to, that you're not really supposed to. You want to avoid all that. And I think from everything they've said as an organization, I think they're quite cognizant of that, and they're going to handle him quite well, I believe.
Yeah, the story's just going to evolve, and we'll see what they do on July 1. But there's some gaping holes on this roster as we have this conversation. But I think you're so right. I think just creating a support system as well. And I think it benefited a guy like Fraser Minton last year, just the time he got in the AHL. And we saw by the end of things now with the Bruins organization, he had a pretty solid finish to the season. And I wouldn't be shocked if Fraser Minton is a full-time NHLer. And I just think there's a lot of room to grow. In any player, even a guy like Easton Cowan, all this guy's done and is won at the junior level. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.